accepting everybody else's uniqueness and their humanity, either way, love wins. And we are the ones that are allowing love to win. And either way, we're all winning. And you know, part of the problem is our negative judgment of other people. That what happens is when we are in negative judgment about somebody else, it closes us off to who they are. It closes us off to their humanity. It closes us off to understanding them. What happens when we are in judgment of another person? It creates an us and a them, and we're separate. It closes us off to that multifaceted, multi-layered, complex human being that we're looking at when we're in judgment of them. It closes us off to their humanity. Because when we are busy judging them, what happens is that's the only thing we see. We only see that surface thing. We don't see all the complexity and the person that's underneath that thing that we're judging. It supersedes us seeing anything beyond that thing we're judging them about. It's like they become one-dimensional, like a caricature drawing. That's the only thing that we see. And we're actually taught, I think, as kids to fear the other, to fear those things that aren't like us. We're taught to fear people that don't look like us. We're taught to fear people that don't believe the same things that we do. We're taught to fear people that don't dress the way that we dress. But what if we aren't all meant to be the same? What if spirit is more completely expressed through variety of human beings? What if spirit is more completely expressed through a multitude of races and colors and cultures and genders and sexual orientations and philosophies and lifestyles? What if spirit's more fully expressed through all of that beautiful variety of humanity? Ernest Holmes said, unity doesn't mean uniformity. Life has set the stamp of individuality upon everything, from a blade of grass to a person. Nothing is the same. Everything is unique. And so I'd like to share a story with you that I love. It says, giants, wizards, and dwarfs was the game to play. Being left in charge of about 87 to 10-year-olds while their parents were off doing parenty things, I mustered my troops in the church social hall and explained the game. It's a large-scale version of rock, paper, and scissors, and it involves some intellectual decision-making. But the real purpose of the game is to make a lot of noise and to run around chasing people until nobody knows which side you're on or who won. Organizing a room full of wired-up grade schoolers into two teams, explaining the rudiments of the game, achieving consensus on group identity, all of this is no mean accomplishment. But we did it with the right goodwill, and we were ready to go. The excitement of the chase had reached a critical mass. I yelled out, "You have to decide now which you are, a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf." While the group huddled in frenzied whisper consultation, a tug came at my pant leg. A small child stood there looking up at me and asked in a small, concerned voice, "Where do the mermaids stand?" Where do the mermaids stand? A long pause, a very long pause. "Where do the mermaids stand?" said I. "Yes, you see, I am a mermaid." "There are no such things as mermaids." "Oh, yes, there is, and I'm one." She did not relate to being a giant, a wizard, or a dwarf. She knew her category, mermaid, and was not about to leave the game and go over and stand against the wall where a loser would stand. She intended to participate wherever mermaids fit in and into the scheme of things, without giving up dignity or identity. She took it for granted that there was a place for mermaids, and I would know just where. Well, where do the mermaids stand? All the mermaids. All those who are different, who do not fit the norm, and who do not accept the available boxes and pigeonholes. Answer that question, and you can build a school, a nation, or a world on it. What was my answer at the moment? Every once in a while, I say the right thing. The mermaid stands right here by the king of the sea. Yes, right here by the king's fool, I thought to myself. So we stood there hand in hand, reviewing the troops of wizards and giants and dwarfs as they rolled by in wild disarray. It is not true, by the way, that mermaids do not exist. I know one, at least personally. I have held her hand. What if we're not all meant to be giants or wizards or dwarfs? Do you ever feel like you're the little square that doesn't fit into the round hole? I think religious scientists, I think we all feel that way, honestly. Ernest Holmes said, "Someday we will come to perfectly appreciate the fact that no living soul is more important than any other one. For in the eternal kingdom of reality, they are all the same, king and slave, what we call rich and poor, what we call intelligent and unintelligent, and what we call worthwhile and not worthwhile." At a soul level, we know that is the truth. At an intellectual, ego-human level, we do not know that is the truth. We are taught to fear the other. We're taught by our parents. They were taught by their parents, and they were taught by their parents. We're taught by our extended families. We're taught to fear other by our society and by our culture, by some churches, and I think political persuasions of every kind, taught to fear others. And not only are we taught to fear the other, the person that is not like us, but we are also hardwired to do that. Our brain is hardwired to do that. From caveman days, you knew that your group was safe, but if something was different than you, it might not be safe. So we're still hardwired from that. But one of the things that actually dissolves our fear of the other is curiosity and wonder. Wondering about the person that we are naming other. I wonder what's important to this person. I wonder what this person most deeply values. I wonder what keeps this person up at night. I wonder what they enjoy doing. I read about a study this week that talked about there are studies where they have done brain scans, and they have the person that's having the brain scan look at a picture of someone who is different than them, and when they look at that picture, the part of their brain that is associated with fear lights up. It's unconscious fear. They don't even know that they're feeling it. But as soon as they start asking questions and get curious and wonder, I wonder what, it was as simple as I wonder what this person likes to eat. Just getting curious moves them from other to humanity, and those fear parts of the brain cease lighting up. They no longer light up, and what happens is the fear dissipates as we see the humanity. It's easier to feel compassion for one of us. It's more difficult to feel compassion for one of them. It's about making everyone an us. Valerie Kaur, in her book, See No Stranger, said, In my early life as an activist, marching the streets, bullhorn to lips, I used the language of resistance. Resistance to everything, from war to white supremacy to the destruction of the earth, was all necessary for survival. In the traditional activist playbook, we resist the actions of our opponents with the goal of removing them from power. But the longer I spent listening to the stories of marginalized people tending to their wounds, the more I heard a deeper longing for a future where we are all safe and secure in our bodies, free to pursue our dreams, where social, political, and economic institutions supported not just our survival, but our flourishing. We could resist with all our might and never deliver such a future. We needed to do more than resist. We needed to reimagine the world. That's what we're doing at Centers for Spiritual Living. We are reimagining the world, a world where we all belong, a world where we are all equal, a world of inclusion and equity. The Global Heart Vision from Centers for Spiritual Living in part says we envision a world in which we live and grow as one global family that respects and honors the interconnectedness of all life. A world where this kinship with all life prospers and connects through the guidance of spiritual wisdom and experience. Spiritual experience and the knowingness of our own spirit within us is the thing that takes us there. We stand for oneness and we stand for love. Love is the way, the truth, and the life. Will you say that with me? Love is the way, the truth, and the life. Love comes first. Everything else is second. And so my invitation to you this week is to make love a conscious practice in your life. To choose love regardless of your differences with someone. Love first. That doesn't mean that you have to agree with someone else's perspective, with their thinking, with what they're doing, but love anyway. And can you set aside your labels of good and bad? Can you set aside your labels that you are good and that they are bad? Labels of good and bad create otherness. Labels of good and bad separate you, and they separate you from your own heart, they separate you from your own humanity, and they separate you from other people's hearts and other people's humanity. And the third thing is, try being curious. Wonder. I wonder what, and fill in the blank. I wonder what's important to that person. I wonder what they love. I wonder who they love. I wonder what their story is. I wonder what the story is. Why does that guy wear a mohawk? I wonder. Living in that love first, not judging as good and bad, and being curious, all of those things result in us living in a world where spirit supersedes ego, where love is greater than fear, where differences don't matter as much as our humanity and as much as our hearts. As we do that, we create a world where we all belong, and where we all deserve to be loved. A world that is based in inclusion, where inclusion is alive and we are all connected. And from that place, then, we can love others and we can love ourselves. And from there, then, we also are free to be exactly who we are in this world. And so blessings to every single one of you as you bring your spirit into this world in a way that is healing, in a way that makes a difference, and in a world that makes love more real in this world. So blessings to all of you. And so I invite you to join me as we turn our attention to a larger truth. The truth that spirit is omnipresent. That one infinite beingness, that one infinite power and presence. That power and presence that is the very essence of love. For that is the essence of this one infinite beingness. Love and wisdom and intelligence and power and good. And it is this presence that is expressing itself in and through our hearts, in and through our minds, in and through our lives. It is that same wisdom and love that leads us on this path that we are each walking. This unique path, this unique expression of who we are in this world. That we are lifted and we are buoyed to express in our fullness, in our grandness, in living color, just as we all are, invited and supported in being exactly who we are. For we are each spirit in manifest form. Each that one creative presence and principle, here expressing itself as this variety of life, this variety of human beings. And isn't it magnificent? For God created the world and said, "Behold, it is magnificent." And so today we open our hearts and our minds to include all of those others on this planet, knowing that we are all walking this path of spirit, that we are all awakening to our own goodness, to our own love and intelligence, and that presence right now is having its way within each and every single one of us. That the light that spirit is dissipates any darkness. For in this light of love, hate cannot exist. In this light of love, indifference does not exist. In this light of love, other does not exist. We are only this one family of humanity, this one family that is an outpicturing of that presence itself. And so I speak this word not just about us, but about every person on this planet, knowing that Spirit right now is leading them and guiding them into their freedom, into their grandest life, into being their greatest expression of love and creativity and goodness in this world. That includes every person, and it also includes the politicians and the decision makers, the leaders. Love is bigger than anything else, and right now it is alive and well inside of them. And so by our seeing that and recognizing that, we call it forward. Our attention grows what we put our attention on. And so we see love everywhere, in and throughout all of humanity. We see peace at the center of everything, wholeness at the center of every person, and good unfolding itself. And so I release this prayer into that creative law of the universe, knowing that it is expressing itself all around us. And so today we celebrate that. And I release this prayer in absolute faith and confidence and assurance. And I invite you to join me in saying, "And so it is."